Road transport in Nigeria accounts for over 90% of freight and passenger service for inland transportation, and therefore, the importance of the national road network as a major contributor to the socio-economic development of the country cannot be overemphasized. President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has provided one of the highest funding attentions for infrastructural development in recent times in the history of Nigeria. The Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN, whose ministry takes the bulk of the responsibility for infrastructural development, has been quoted on several occasions as saying that there is no state in Nigeria that his ministry is not working, especially with regards to road construction and rehabilitation. Indeed, by improving journey time and facilitating the movement of goods to the market across the country, the ministry is playing a key role in realizing the objectives of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan (ERGP) of the current administration to restore growth, invest in the Nigerian people, and improve economic competitiveness. Using the traditional federal north-south road network from A1 to A9 and other priority indicators as guide, the Honorable Minister and his colleague Ministers of State explain how this assertion is true and verifiable.
There is no state in the Federal Republic of Nigeria where this government is not building one road project or the other, whether it is a new project or those projects that were stalled or that we have reactivated, so that we just improve the connectivity of the road network and the transport network to support business. Now, it's interesting that we also talk about the routes A1 to A9, and one of the things that we have left undone is that we have not projected for the information of the public that our highways actually have defined road and code names, just as you will see in other parts of the world, M1, M6, and those kind of things. And so this has existed, and it is the intention of this administration to reinstate that nomenclature and also use it as part of education for the next generation to understand the route network, highway network of the country. And what we ultimately will see is a return of highway signage so that people can travel across the length and breadth of Nigeria as you would do in many other parts of the world once you can get a map, because there are signs that tell you which way to go. As you get to each village or each town, there are also signs that tell you how far you have come, which town you are entering. That has not been prevalent in Nigeria until recently. We're trying to start erecting town and village signs to guide commuters about how far they have gone, and also how much longer their journey is. The kilometer milestones that used to tell how far you have traveled, how many kilometers is left. We also want to restore all of that, because those are the traditional global road network furniture, highway network furniture, and also lane marking and so on and so forth. Now, the interesting thing about the Nigerian route map is that essentially it tries to connect the country in type of a north to south and grid type east to west. And if you look at the A1 to A4, they are all the roads that run from the sea to the north of Nigeria. If you look at the A1 here, it runs from Lagos right through Ibadan, Osogbo, Ilorin, Jeba, and takes you all the way to Sokoto to our border with Niger. And if you go to the A2, you will see is also from a port city, Warri, Benin, and then goes through Okene, Lokoja, all the way to Katsina. And you will see the same thing with the A3, which takes you from Port Harcourt, another coastal city, all the way to Maiduguri. It actually forks somewhere here and takes you to Potiskum, to Yobe. And then the A4 is the one that comes straight from Calabar to Maiduguri. Now, if you look at all of that, is port roads, port cities to Savannah towns, and then international border crossing. Now, if you go to the A5, you will see the spur that it creates. This is now the route away from Ibadan to Ota to connect another part of Western Nigeria. You will see the same thing with the A6, which links critical sectors of the east to the south-south, Aba, Uyo, Onitsha, Port Harcourt, and it can give you the connectivity to the A2. And the same thing you will see with the A7 now, and this is from the western flank of the country, taking you from Ilorin to parts of Kishi, Kayama area of the north central and our border to Republic of Benin. And the A8 does almost the same thing on the eastern flank. And you will see there you are close to our border with Chad, Cameroon on the south, Chad to the northeast. And the A9 you will see to the north. It's just like a balanced grid network that takes you to Jibia and to the border town from another side of Kano. Now, this is the grid that if you restore it, you have essentially hit a very, very big blow to the problem of road transport, cost, time, and delay. Because once that entire network is moving, Nigeria is back on the move. As far as road transport is concerned, costs will come down, fuel consumption will come down, it will affect cost of goods and services, the journey time experience will improve, the amount of hours people spend on the road will translate to efficiency and productivity, which is what all of this ease of business and all of that is all about. So they are not the choice of those roads that we are focusing on now. And so you will see within that network that we are focusing on Ilorin, Jeba, we are focusing on Oyo, Ogbomosho, we are focusing on Enugu, Onitsha, Port Harcourt, we are focusing on Kano, Maiduguri, we are focusing on Sokoto, Ilela, Tambuwa Road. These are all parts, sections that are within that A1 to A9. Where we want to restore motorability.
In his New Year address to Nigerians, President Muhammadu Buhari listed road infrastructure as one of the major areas of his administration's focus this year. He stated the effect this will have on the people and the economy of the country, and assured Nigerians that in terms of road construction and rehabilitation, there are better days ahead. What are the plans by the ministry to ensure that this becomes a reality?
These are roads that we want to use to drive the economy. And what are the drivers of the economy? And it is those drivers of the economy that inform the choices that we have made. So we have roads that we have classified into priorities based on where the economy should be going. We want to move food. We have an agro program. Okay? And therefore, we have asked the Ministry of Agri, give us the roads that go to your big agro production centers where the largest tonnage of food is coming from. And you will see those roads in this agricultural area from the northwest, from the north central, from the southwest, from the east, northeast, north central, south south, southeast. And you will see that the grain producing areas of the northwest Kano Zaria area to Kebbi are already covered. So that's where the bulk of the grains, wheat, and all of that is coming from. If you look at the north central, Abakaliki, Afikpo, Enugu, Night Mine, those are the rice producing areas in the eastern part of the country. And the cocoa and all of those cash crops areas of the southwest. As you will see also, the places, roads leading to places like Numan, Jalingo, those are roads that link you towards one of Nigeria's most prolific agro base in Taraba. So there's a method to this. If you also look at the roads that we have chosen as priority, they cover the entire spectrum of the country. And this reinforces the point that I was making, that there is no state where we are not impacting you. None. So if you go in any circular from all the way around, you will see that whether it is in the northwest, north central, or southwest, or whether it is in the northeast, north central, or southeast, the country is covered. Now these are the roads that carry some of the heaviest traffic. If you look at them closely, and I've spoken to some of them, Hadeja Nguru Gashua, the Kano Maiduguri, Kano Western Bypass, Kano Katsina, Sokoto Tambuwal, Abuja Lokoja, Zaria Funtua, Maiduguri Bama Goza Road, and so on and so forth. Lagos Ibadan, Obajana Benin, that's where most of the cement and all of that. So this is, if we fix this road, and we're working on all these roads that you see, there's a contractor working in one section or the other. Then in the south of this, these are, you will see the word mine roads. These are the roads that lead to border towns in the south. Mine is the acronym for Made in Nigeria for Export. And those roads, again, are consistent with what the president, the vice president, and the government as a whole has been saying. Made in Nigeria, by Made in Nigeria. Then there's Made in Nigeria for export. So these roads are not roads to nowhere. They're not roads that are dropped out of anybody's head. We need energy. We need to supply petrol. And so if you look again, you will see that we have looked at roads that go to critical NNPC depots. So this is the one that goes to the Kaduna, this is the Mina, this is the Agay Kachia Baru Road, NNPC depot in Ejigbo, Tinkan Island, Apapa Oshodi, Warri Refinery. These are the roads, and of course, Bodo Boni Bridge. So those are the energy strongholds in terms of gas, petrol, and so on and so forth, and the ports from which they are moved. Those are the roads, again, we target as a priority. So there's a strategy to this, and contrary to the often generalized belief there's no plan, we don't see a plan, this is the plan. This is the program that implements the economic recovery and growth plan on the road network side.
The Ministry of Power, Works and Housing has mapped out 7 priority areas of focus for road construction and rehabilitation between 2017 and 2019. These priority areas will receive immediate attention within this period. Some of these priority projects include agriculture, power, education, etc. With good roads linking these projects, moving goods and services from where they are produced to Nigerians will be much easier, which will translate to ease of doing business and a better life for Nigerians.
Okay, we've spoken about some of those priorities: energy, agri, export. There are also roads that are within the universities. Those are interventions for federal universities. Their road network, we think, is important. It's part of the investment in education. Just like we have something to do with energy in universities. That's an investment in education. So also contrary to the generalization that the education investment does not meet global standard benchmark, all of the investments in education don't go to the teaching and classroom alone. There are other infrastructure that support education, that aggregate, and those can be put in the Ministry of Education. They're put in other departments of government where they should be implemented. The strategy for delivering some of these roads vary. Some come directly from budgetary provision, some come from special borrowing initiatives by the Ministry of Finance, such as the Sukuk that we took, 100 billion naira, to intervene on 25 roads within that A1 to A9, because those are the real spine of the entire network. So, and as I've said, if you now go to places like the Benin Okene Road, Lokoja to Abuja, Enugu Port Harcourt, Ilorin Oyo Ogbomosho, Ilorin Jeba, Kanu Maiduguri, you will find those are the roads where you will see signboards of Sukuk. Those are essentially part of that network where the Sukuk is targeted.
Before now, federal road contractors were abandoning site and laying off workers because of non-payment by government. Thousands of Nigerians lost their jobs, and road journey experience from any point in the country to another was fraught with bad roads. Now contractors that were owed for years have been paid.
I want to inform you that this government have made a commitment of close to 3 trillion naira to the road sector. Our contractors are back on site. Persons, trades, businesses have returned consequent upon this investment by the federal government. So all our sites are active, all our contractors are back, all the staffs are being re-engaged, and even more. A lot of businesses have sprung up around those construction sites. Quarry, sale of cement, wire rods, and a lot of other services. Now, remotely linked to it is trade. Person selling food, person providing some small services around the construction sites. These are increasing businesses consequent upon the investment of government in that. Now, funding of these projects have also been a little bit diversified in the sense that persons are encouraged to come and look at a particular component of a road infrastructure and invest in it, and they get paid using tax credits. We have also now looked at another funding system, and we have floated the Sukuk bond for 100 billion, which was oversubscribed to the tune of 105+ billion, which is the first in the history. It tells you two things: the confidence of people in our economy, the confidence of people in the government, the confidence of people and companies and entities in the institution of the federal government of Nigeria today under the leadership of our principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. So this is novel. The monies generated to date, the drawdown is about 57 billion.
When we came in, we found out that as of 2015, what was budgeted for the road infrastructure in the country was all in all about, I think, 18 billion. For 2016, the ministry got about 200 and something billion per road alone. That is bearing in mind that the oil price has dropped, but even with that, we were given about 290 something billion per roads. The same thing in 2017. And to tell you, or to show you the importance Mr. President attached to the development of road infrastructure, because it is the only key to national development and growth.
The payment made it possible to mobilize contractors at 331 sites nationwide to continue work on roads and bridges and keep 47,000 directly employed and 235,000 indirectly engaged people at work. The Honorable Minister explains how this has positively affected the Nigerian people and the economy.
When countries spend on infrastructure,